Cool, thank you. So everyone, welcome to today's APAC community call. So today, as discussed, we'll be kind of doing the first part of our APAC study quarterly updates. So today we'll be hearing updates from the chapter study from Chen and also the data quality study from Chungsoo. So with that, so before we go into the two study update, we'll first kind of share a bit of the Odyssey news. And today, I really want to focus on that. We do have, because last about 2 weeks ago, we have Chen, Chungsoo, and Mui kind of share the awesome experience for the European Symposium this year, because it's kind of the in-person one in the last 3 years, and it was really great. And now we also have the recordings that are up in Odyssey website, which we'll send through kind of the chat as well, but you can just go into Odyssey.org, and then we have the 3 sessions of breakout. So the first day we do have, I think a really interesting part is we do have the European chapter to share kind of their experience, which I think from our APAC side can definitely be learning. And we're hoping to invite some of them to talk at APAC community calls later down this quarter as well. And then for second session, and then the third session will be more on kind of the collaborator showcase, as well as some of the study sharing sessions. So we can see kind of what are the past or the ongoing studies the community has been working on for the last year. So all of the recordings are up there, and I do love the music entry at the beginning. It feels like you're on a cruise ship, like all the background music that will be playing when you're on the ship, which is really nice. So everyone feel free to check it out. So all of the recordings are up there, so you can go through, you can go see the recordings. So with that, I will go to Chen. So Chen, would you like to share your screen to give us the update on the chapter study?
Okay. Chen, I can do the slides for you if you want. Let me know what's best for you.
I can share it.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thanks. So this is very brief update of chapter study, the characterization of health by OHDSI APEC chapter to identify temporal effect of the pandemic. We presented the preliminary results of chapter study at European Symposium in this year, and Singaporean team reported there was a potential temporal change in the diagnosis of type 2 diabetes before and after COVID-19 pandemic occurrence in the Asian Pacific region. So as you can see that in Japan, you can see the abrupt decline of the incidence of diabetes in 2020, and the rebound of the incidence of diabetes actually followed in 2021. And this is preliminary results from the previous OHDSI study, the February, phenotype February. And also, I presented the temporal change of cardiovascular diseases during the COVID-19 pandemic in the area. And you can see that there is a abrupt decline of the incidence of cardiovascular disease in the 2020, and the rebound is followed in Australia database. So again, this is the preliminary result, and currently we are requesting access to the HERA data, which is a nationwide claim data, and they announced that they will provide a 20% sample Korean population data for the COVID-19 research from July 2022. So I'm currently working on to get the approval from the IRB for the chapter study and the Hong Kong University studies, which will be presented in the next meeting. And so I plan to complete the study package by July, and this work in this month to calculate the monthly incidence. And I hope that the results of the chapter study from the various study topics, such as the diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, malignancy, or autoimmune diseases will be presented at OHDSI Symposium at Bethesda on 15 October. Thanks. This is very brief update. So if you have any questions or comment, please let me know.
Thank you, Chen. I was just wondering, you mean the for the for the plans for this month, since we're like mid-July-ish. Yeah, mid-July. So that's kind of when we will be kind of talking about the actual package like this month.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then
Yeah.
will the package be around like it'll be like pure characterization, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
All right. Any other questions from the audience? So I know the Singaporean team is probably on the call as well. Any additional comments?
I'm not sure that we do have Singaporean colleagues in this meeting now.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chen. And next we'll have Chungsoo to share the quarterly update for a data quality paper. So Chungsoo, would you like to share your screen?
Yeah, I can share. Did you guys, can you guys see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I present CDM inspection study preliminary results briefly. We are doing this study for assessing the current status of CDMs in APEC region, and we want to also improve our data quality. So for this purpose, we are collecting the CDM inspection reports from study sites. In the CDM inspection report, there are 4 check levels: the data table counts and vocabulary mapping, performance, and infrastructure. But we are focusing on the data table count and vocabulary mapping for the quality check, and we want to focusing on developing a reference range for the future ETL. Study package were revised for the various environments. So also we added the sample core generation function for checking possibility of future collaborative research. We have done receiving the 25 results from South Korea, China from Wonders Group, and Japan from IQVIA and J&J. I want to say thank you so much. And we are trying to run the package in Singapore data and planning to run the package using Australian data after their ETL is done. Most of database were from Korea actually, but and the 23 databases were from were HR, and the 2 were claims data. All databases were almost CDM version 5.3, and until now we found that 36 billion records of data were in our databases in APEC region. And among these, the measurement data was shown as 29%, and cost data was 21%. So I thought that we are usually focused on the drug exposure and condition occurrence data for our clinical research, but I also think we are already having potential for the economic study using this cost data. And mean of data period was 14 years, and overall number of person was 49 million, and the number of records was 36 billion. And for each site, the mean number of person was about 1 million, and median records were 0.5 billion. And during this analysis, we plotted the stacked bar plot like right side, and we plotted by study site. We found that some institutions showed unique proportion between domains. So we want to know, we want to figure out more. This is because their unique characteristics or from the wrong ETL process. So we request the detailed description for this. We have communicated with those sites. And also we are developing the reference values for the future ETL or anyone who wanna or who will try for their ETL for the first time. For one of the potential reference metrics, we are considering the records per person value by each domain, but these values depends on the country or type of data or type of institution. So we have to figure out more details. So we have a plan to discuss about how can we define or how can we find the other metrics for the as a reference. The drug mapping results also were also collected, and among total drug records, the most of the records are mapped to the RX nom class containing a brand name of the drug, like branded drug, and or quant-branded drug or marketed product. I think the institutions that have already performed ETL more than once seem to be doing brand name mapping. And yeah, brand name mapping, I think it would be great for the specific future study. Yeah, and the accuracy results were also collected from the 17 sites. The mean number of errors was 6.5, and the median value was 2.0. The frequent errors from each site were like wrong distribution of age or wrong procedure mapping. We recommend the site fix these errors as much as possible. So I submitted this result to the European OHDSI Symposium, and also planning to submit more advanced one to the OHDSI APAC Symposium. And we are planning to collect more reports from other sites, and are also planning to discuss the development of reference metrics using our results in our team meeting. Yeah, this is end of my presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chungsoo. I just have one quick question. So I know we're still waiting for some of the like some of the new the other kind of data partners to, like Australian data partners to run their data, and then we have the results. But was the plan to, maybe we can start and not only poster but other kind of publication, or just using what we have, because I think we already have quite a few countries and quite a lot of hospitals already. Was that the plan, or well, you're planning to kind of well, see when we have more?
Yeah, we have a plan for the future publication. I think we can analyze this result in this year. So at the end of this year, we can plan to submit this to any like the informatics journal. Yeah, we have a plan for submitting.
Oh, okay, so it'll be a little bit later this year, I
Yeah.
guess. Cool, thank you. All right. Any other questions from the audience?
So I have 2 questions. So
Yep.
This is really great, and congratulations for the very great results again. The first thing is, so should we limit the database for the study to the APEC regions? we may need to expand the database beyond Asia, such as United States or Europe. So we can think about that. But and I don't think you need to limit the database just for the as a APAC region. And the second one is that this is really minor comments, but we can adjust the x-axis of the figure 2.
This right?
No, the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because there is a variation in the records, mean records in across the tables, but it is not easy to see in this graph because the the x-axis actually expands to the 400. So
yeah,
we may need to adjust this a little bit more. So we can see the variation of the records between the depth observation period or person. So
okay. Yeah, I can adjust them. Yeah. Yeah, for the
I don't know why the mean records of person is 1.3 per person, and but the mean record of the death is just 1 per person.
Yeah, I think the death records has only 1 for person, but yeah, I think there are some problems in some size person table because person table also have to have the record for the person only. Maybe I can figure out more.
Yeah, because the person ID in the person table should be unique.
Yeah, true.
If it is exceed the 1, then it is an erroneous database, and so it's a little bit confusing that not all people that in the data that this record is not available for all persons in the database. So the numerator of this numbers should be described in the legend too. So
okay.
there's one per persons in that table.
Yeah, that's true. And for the first question, yeah, I actually try to expand our study with the European data partners because the CDM inspection package is from their part. So I wanna talk about this in European Symposium, but I couldn't. So maybe I can send this result to Peter or Danny. Yeah, like or we can expand this study to our US data partners because actually they wanna some colleagues actually emailed to me for this study, so from the US. So actually I can collaborate with them.
Yeah. Chungsoo, this is really great.
Hi, Mark.
I take Chan's point about having the appropriate denominator in there, particularly in death, but I wouldn't worry too much about what you've done here. It really just looks like your reported means are just misaligned with the plots, right? Because you have procedure occurrence says 1 plus or minus 0, and that's really that's the value for person. Right, the value for person you have listed as 1.3, but that's really the average for the observation period. So I think that the biggest challenge here is just the misalignment. I think the work that you're doing is done correctly.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes,
No. It's good. It's just I mean that's yeah.
Because I fixed these slides from the poster one.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, you're right.
Hi, Chungsoo, this is Song. I also have a question. So
yeah, hi, Song.
Yeah, we're talking about publication, right? So
yeah,
I'm just wondering how you are, like how the IRB's like process will be handled for if in case you want to publicate this, because like there's a lot of EHR based information you have here, and most of them, majority are Korean hospitals, right? So I'm just wondering how you might like, is this something you need to talk about along the line, or has this been discussed already with the data partners?
Oh yeah, we discussed this project in our OHDSI Korea call. So we already discussed about this study, and I presented this result in OHDSI Korea call about, I think, the early of this year. So and the IRB one is actually I discussed with this project with our ILB, but they said this is not the human subject study, so they said it doesn't need the IRB approval. So yeah.
Right. Of course, we respect your organization's, decision, but most journals, when you submit stuff like this, they might ask for a ethics review number or something like that, right? Yeah, I think it could be something. Although your organization is exempting like entirely, it could be something you might want to discuss with the other organizations as well, right? It's in case a journal that you're targeting for asks for a ethics review number, you might want to reference their organization's number there as well. So yeah, something for you to think about. Since you're not like publicating right now, if you're going to publicate eventually, it's something you might want to think about.
Okay, that's a good point, then. Thank you. So I will figure out more.
Is there any other questions from the audience? I think this is really, really helpful because I mean, like with this many data sources you have for the study that comes along, if there is any IRB needed, then that's a lot of work for that too. So I think it's a double-sided sword, but I think it's all for the greater good. So we have more data assets here, and it would definitely, because different countries are involved. So I want to make sure we got that covered. All right, cool. All right, thank you. So Mui, I was wondering if you have any questions or comments here?
Gotta find the unmute button. I don't have any comments here, but I do. Are we done? Because I do want to announce something if we're done with all the presentations.
If no more questions from audience, I think we have gone through most of the study update today.
Okay, and I apologize, this is in the IQVIA template, but it will be changed to the OHDSI template because this was very last minute, because we just formed it out. We just finalized everything last night. So we kind of rushed to get everything in place so we can present this today, okay? So, with my new computer, I didn't have the OHDSI template on it, so I am sorry. So ignore the IQVIA template, but this is really talking about OHDSI APAC. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Just want to make sure everybody can see before I go and start talking and everybody's like, what are you talking about? So we want to announce, and I know we kind of previewed it a little bit earlier, but we want to officially announce the OHDSI APAC Symposium 2022. It is going to be hosted by, I'm sorry, I think I misspelled this too, Taipei Medical University. So my bad. TMU, very, very sorry. This is what I get for doing stuff last minute, okay? And it is going to be November 12th and the 13th. It's 2 different days, and it is a workshop day and then also the main symposium day. And you can see here what we have, our registration fees. And these are in USD, okay? You guys can translate this to your local currency. I put it in, we put it in USD. We have, went through this and actually, came up with what we consider like early bird pricing and then regular pricing and how that's going to work. So we suggest that those who are going to go in person or want to attend virtually, because we do understand with COVID restrictions, especially in Asia Pacific, it's a bit still strict. Compared to the Western hemisphere over here, where everybody just goes around without a care in the world anymore, okay? COVID is like the common code now, it seems. So, but we do have an in-person version and then a virtual version. Now, for the tutorial, there is no online version because we feel that for the tutorials, if we have a mix, it's going to be unfair to the students that are online because the teachers are mainly going to focus on the people that are there, right? Because they're going to be the ones that gets most of our attention. So we're just going to do the tutorials in person. And then for the main symposium, we do have a virtual version as well. Okay, now for the virtual version, there are going to be sections that you're going to miss out on because it's called networking. So it's going to be hard for us to network with you, but you will be able to listen in on most of the tutorial itself. I'm sorry, the symposium itself. So what is in the tutorials, right? So we have actually one of our honored teachers actually on this call today too. So for the tutorial on the 12th, we do have a few little different things, right? In the morning, we have an introduction to the OMOP, CDM, and vocabulary. It's going to be led by Christian Rice on the global side, and then you'll see plus APAC. I'll get to that in a second, right? Then we also have posters that you can see throughout. The posters will be set up so you can look at those. And then in the afternoon, there's going to be two different sessions. One is the ETL and data quality, very similar to what we did virtually, but a shorter version in person, right? And then phenotyping development to get folks to better understand how to develop phenotyping. The ETL is going to be led by me, and again, quote, APAC. The phenotyping is going to be led by Mark and Patrick, and plus, quote, APAC. And Mark's right there. He raised his hand. And where the quote APAC comes in is this call for participation. So everyone here, we're giving you this opportunity to become a teacher or a TA. Okay, you don't have to be a teacher, you can be a TA. Okay, we are recruiting for people from the local countries that speaks the native dialect that will help be our translators, right? Because we understand the people that are coming into APAC, it's going to be a variety of people. It's not just going to be English, right? And I understand that folks sometimes are feel a little better if they can speak their native language. So we want to make sure we accommodate for that. So we're looking for TAs that can help in the native language, and then additional tutors that can learn from actually these experts here. Not me, but Mark, right? We're going to set up sessions that actually, go over what the tutorial is going to be. And if you want to actually teach some of it, we will teach you how to teach those parts, right? You're not going to teach the whole thing. Okay, so don't be afraid. We're not going to throw you out there and say you're doing this on your own, okay? But we would love to get the APAC community involved in some of the tutorials, right? So if you have an interest, let Jing and Son or email the APAC Symposium email and let us know, okay? Or email us, let us know in Teams, whichever, okay? Now, the day of the tutorial, it's actually quite packed because this is the first time we're getting together in quite a few years, and it's the first APAC that's actually live. We want to make sure we account for as much material as possible, but also not bore everybody, okay? So this went through a lot of thought process, okay? So you can see it starts at 8:30 and goes all the way until 5, okay? We have different themes in here at the top really talking about, what is OHDSI, and having George and Patrick come in and talk to everybody a bit about what OHDSI where it's been and where it's now and where we're going, right? I think for those who did go to the European Symposium, you got a taste of that, right, from Patrick and George. We're going to do more of that at the APAC Symposium. We also, because it's graciously being hosted by Taiwan, right, we want the Taiwan team to really do a bit of insights about them and what type of research that they're doing and how they're using their native data as well as the OMOP data in order to do research. And of course, the study leaders who's been talking here today and the next one, we would love to invite you to actually talk more about your studies. We're hoping by November, you guys will have your study results and maybe ready for out there for a publication, okay? So And then what we want to do is give people a break at noon to go around and look at the posters. So the posters going to be, we're aiming for about 100 or so posters. Okay. We are asking people, if you guys have posters that you would like at the APAC Symposium, please register and submit your abstracts, right? And a scientific community will review it and provide that. Okay. The date for that is September 1st is when we would like the abstracts to be submitted. Don't worry, if you don't, we still will have 100. Okay. We are actually coordinating with the European Symposium and the Global Symposium to get all of their posters. And then we will, as a scientific committee, elect or select basically the top 100 that we think might be beneficial for the APAC team to see in person. Right now, they are available online. Everything's online and available, but we will try to pick those that are more relevant to the APAC community and some of the stuff that's going around the community, so you guys can actually see. Right. So that's that session. And of course, if you have the time to commingle with others, that's great. In the afternoon, we really want to talk more into standardization. And I know last year we had a lot of interest in fire. Right, we did bring this the fire leader from Singapore, and I believe Mark was there. Now we're going to get a couple more people. We're going to try to get a couple more Asia Pacific leaders around standardization, and Christian, who's all about standardization and harmonization, right, to talk on a panel about why is it important to standardize, right, and why of all these different models, what's better than the other, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. And then we're going to go into all the different chapters and, allow folks to hear about how folks are adapting, because not everybody is adapting OMOP immediately, right? Some folks like Thailand, I just learned yesterday, they're moving to HL7 first. So, but then, then we could talk about well, yeah, but then we have a collaboration with HL7, right? So it'll be easy for them to move to OMOP. So we want to hear from the different chapter leads, and I'm sure most of you guys don't realize that Thailand's actually working on OMOP, and there's actually a bunch of Indian organizations that's also working on OMOP. So we're going to try to invite them to talk about some of the activities that they're talking about there, besides our normal 6 chapters, right? And then again, we'll have another poster session, but also time for folks to get up and walk around, because by that time, everyone's going to be tired, right? After lunch, listening to all these exciting talks, now they're all excited to get up and walk around and talk to everybody. So poster session and networking session. Then we're going to have a closeout. Now, of course, a symposium is not a symposium without a surprise. Okay? All of our symposium, there's always some kind of surprise. So not going to tell you what the surprise is. You have to come to the symposium or join the symposium to hear about and see the surprise. Okay, so it's going to be a surprise. So I highly suggest that you come and join us. Now, I sounded like a salesperson, because I am. I'm trying to sell it. Okay. That's all the information I have. We are working on the registration page right now through OHDSI.org. It will be up most likely by next weekend. And when it is, we will send out a notification to everybody so that you guys can register. But before that, does anyone have any questions? Did I talk too fast? Everybody understood every word I said.
So Chungsoo, please note that you are one of the presenter in the network study session. So even though we've not talked to you, but please note that.
Yeah, I already have to go there.
Don't worry, you'll get invitations, right? So yeah, we didn't spell everybody out yet because we haven't gotten confirmation from all the other folks. So I didn't want to disappoint anybody by putting names on there and then they don't show up, right? And then everybody's gonna say, I went there because of Mark, and then Mark decides not to show up. But Mark's showing up, so that's why his name's on there.
Only COVID's keeping me away.
Correct. So anyone else got any questions? What we would love if you have no questions, okay, this is a takeaway for you guys. So there's two takeaways. One, if you want to participate, let us know. Two, we would love it if you can message this out to your community, right, to help us get more participation and get more folks to join in on this exciting adventure that we're going to go to. Honestly, it's a historical event, right? It's a historical moment because this is the first APAC. We've gone to Korea to do the Korean Symposium. We've gone to China to do the China Symposium multiple times, but we've never actually done an APAC conference in person. So it's very significant in the historical point of view from APAC side of OHDSI. So we would love for everyone and get enough folks to come join us for that historical moment, right? You're going to be written down in history if I haven't convinced you enough yet.
And about the tutorial TAs, you don't need to be a super expert on the CDM for the TAs. We just need your help because there will be very many challenges, and because Mark and Moe cannot speak Korean, Chinese, or Taiwanese, well, Japanese. So
Mark cannot.
Yeah, we need your help for your folks in your country. So don't hesitate to volunteer. And again, you don't need to be a sport expert for that.
And that is a true statement. Thank you. I agree there. And it's really an opportunity for folks to learn, right? Because we will teach you. If you don't know, you don't have to be an expert. You don't even have to be an expert to teach, okay? Because if you don't know, by the time you get to the symposium, you'll become an expert because we will teach you. We will teach you what you need to know, as well as it's not like we won't be there, so we can help answer the more difficult questions. But we just find this as a great opportunity to pass down the knowledge to Asia Pacific. All right. Anybody got questions? Any other reactions besides you guys are all awed and that's why you're so excited and speechless, right? Yeah, see, I do the same thing. I actually find it very fun. So I think some folks shared their experience about the symposium in Europe. I don't know if you guys did that because I flew home, right, that day. But I actually do find, I've been to a lot of conferences, and I don't know about Mark, Chan, and other folks, right? I've been to a lot of different conferences, and I find the OHDSI ones to be the most interesting and the most fun because it's a smaller group, number one. Like some of the other conferences we go to, they have like 2,000-3,000 people. And a lot of them, it's little groups and they all commingle. And if you don't know them, you feel like, how do I even get in? Right? That's how I feel with some of the other big conferences that I go to. Versus with the OHDSI symposiums, I find that even if I don't know anything, if I just go up to somebody and I start asking, they're always so welcoming. They're always so open to talking. They're always so open to, how can I help you? What can I do to assist? And that was me like 6 years ago wow, dang, I'm dating myself. Never mind. A long time ago. I'm not dating myself here. A long time ago when I first joined OHDSI, I'm like, I have no clue what OHDSI is all about. I don't know. Christian Reich was my boss, and he says I needed to join and I needed to be involved. Okay, what are you going to do when your boss says you have to be involved? You just go, right? But I did find that it was very friendly people. They were always willing to help. Whenever I had a question, people were willing to help. And I found the European Symposium to be very refreshing again, because again, I got to meet a lot of people that I haven't met in a long time, but I also got to meet a lot of new people. They had a lot of new chapters that joined, or a lot of new countries that were trying to do the OMOP CDM. And, I went to their posters and started talking to them, and they were willing to explain a lot of stuff about their country I didn't even know about. Because again, I'm sure it's the same thing in Asia Pacific. Every country has their wonderful rules around privacy, around how care works, around how the systems capture the data, right? So I was able to talk to them and just pick up, and I now have a lot more friends again, or more friends than I did when I left the European Symposium. So I really, really encourage folks to actually go to these things if you can, because they are very different than your typical conferences. So, especially in Asia, because most Asian conferences, okay, now I'm being bad, but you go, you sit, and you sit for the whole day, and you sit there like this, okay? Tell me if I'm wrong, because I may be. But I think I've been to enough of those as well. You sit there and you listen to all the speakers, and at the end of it, you just walk out, right? You don't really get a lot of time to actually go up to the speakers and ask questions. You just sit there in awe and go, wow, all right, I'm going home now. I think I learned a lot, but that's kind of it. Here, we're giving you guys that opportunity to actually meet with these people, and they are willing to talk. I mean, you see here Chungsoo, Chan, Nicole, everybody who's done these things, they're going to explain things to you guys. They're going to talk to you. Mark's going to be extremely talkative when we get there, especially if you give him a beer or two, okay? Then he's going to go off. And I will not shut up. I will not be quiet either if you give me a beer or two either, okay? So yeah, we encourage you guys to, if you guys have never been to one of these, we do encourage you guys to attend it. All right, I've done my 10-minute spiel on selling this symposium.
Thank you.
Anyone, any questions? Last chance, any questions?
Yeah, so Mui,
Yes.
So typically we're in Taiwan with a lot of Asian people. I'm just I have this little concern that it's gonna be a very typical Asian symposium if we don't have it's as you said, if somebody approaches someone and asks a question, yeah, there's gonna be this entire conversation going on and on and on. I agree, but typically when somebody is new, it's very hard for Asians, even for myself, it's very hard for Asians to reach out to a random person and say, hey, start that thing, right? So I'm like, hopefully it won't be like that in Taiwan, but like literally my first symposium in the US, I was actually one of those people in the corner with a little glass of water or a bottle of water and just looking, oh, okay, these people must be really close to each other. Like, how do I penetrate that? Like something like that, right? So like hopefully, we can save people in the corners when we are there. But yeah, let's see how that goes, right?
I will make note of that and walk around and make sure there's no one in the corner, okay? Because you know me, I am going to walk up to anybody and start talking, okay? So I agree there. I do agree. There are sometimes that. I do know, and we will make an effort, and I will talk to the global leaders, right, to walk around and to look around and actually try to initiate the discussion with you guys. If you guys are shy, we will come to you. Okay, I'm not shy. I will come to you. Okay, then you might not be hiding in a corner. You might be shrinking. You might be like shrinking down because you're too shy because we're coming right up to you, right?
Yeah.
But again, I agree with that. So we can look at different ways. Like we can do during the networking sessions, we can walk around and ask people, right? Instead, and we'll take the initiatives. But again, I like that concern, but I would love to, counter that by telling you that these global folks, they are very nice and they are very, very helpful people. So please, I understand the shyness. I do. Because when I'm not on this call, I pretend to be shy as well. But once you take that one little step, you will find that these guys are quite approachable. So I ask that if you guys do go to the symposium, take that one tiny little step, get a drink of baijiu or get a drink of soju or get a drink of sake, whichever one it is that you guys want to, just take a sip of it and then you got the courage, right? Maybe that's what we'll do. We're gonna have at the networking session, everybody take
It's
one
like-
shot of something. Okay.
We'll be
then
serving alcohol at like, 2 p.m. or something like that, right?
If that's gonna get you guys to loosen up, I don't know. As long as we don't legally get in trouble.
No. Everyone is 21 and above, so that's fine.
We should check that during their registration.
Well, actually, in Asian countries, it's 18. So I think everyone is 18 and above.
Yeah. So Maui is right. She's a very outgoing individual, and she will certainly keep everyone out of the corners. I'm gonna make sure to have a conversation and discussion with Christian, Patrick, and George and myself, since we're all coming, to brainstorm some good icebreaker ideas that we can have ready to go. As you know, none of us are shy. We're all very approachable. One of the reasons I'm making the time in my late evening to come to the APAC community calls is just to kind of build that familiarity. So we'll be there, and we're there to make collaborators, and all of my I only collaborate with people who are also my friends. So it's collaborators and friends.
Yes. So no, thank you for that. Is there any other thing that we haven't thought about that you guys would like us to address? You're really making me thinking about doing shots, okay? Honestly. I'm not joking here.
It's evening your time, Moo. You can do that now. It's
No.
only 12 hours
I'm
now.
talking about during the networking session at the symposium.
Okay.
Is that the surprise, Mui, that you
No,
have?
no, but that'll be the second surprise potentially at this rate. It's not going to be that bad, It's just one shot, just one.
Oh, I could take 10 shots, but yeah, what the hell?
But one will lighten you up, right? It takes
Right.
10 to get you a bit more loose, but one will lighten you up a little bit, just that little bit to give you that push to come and talk to these guys. So,
Of course.
cool. Anyone else got any wonderful suggestions for us? I mean, I know it's soju, I know it's baiju, and I know it's sake. Is there something else that I forgot? Maybe whiskey? I know that's maybe the fourth one.
Beer?
Yeah.
Beer. Oh, beer. Okay, Titanic. I remember that. Okay, from Korea, it's the Titanic. Or the sake bomb.
Oh, the sake, yeah, the bomb thing.
Well,
Yep.
so it's sake bomb in Japan. It's Titanic in Korea, or at least that's what I was told. Now I could have been lied to, okay? Because someone could have lied to me that that's called a Titanic. Chungsoo, is it called a Titanic? It is? Okay.
I'm almost scared to come. Somebody needs to promise to make sure I get to the airport to get back.
Don't worry, they'll make sure you get to the airport. Will you be conscious? That's a different question, right?
Irrelevant. I just need to be there.
Okay, good. Well, if there's no more questions, again, we look forward. Yes, go ahead.
Can I get the text for sharing in Korea?
Yes, I will have Jing redo them in the OHDSI template, and then you can send it to you guys. Yeah, I don't think you want it in the IQVIA template. Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Sorry, like I said, it was very last minute since we just got it finalized everything last night. So, and my computer is broken, half broken. So, I'm blaming it on that. So, okay, yeah, we will send it to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, anything else? Anybody? If not, have a nice rest of your day. And again, please sign up for the symposium.
And we'll be sending out the registration links and how to sign up and everything shortly once they're up there. It should be up there next week or so.
Yes. Thank you. Have a nice one, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.